So, yeah, I'm glad that you and I are on here today. But
Yeah.
look, we're just gonna keep building week by week. We
Yeah.
have to. It's just mandatory because this is really important that we get some good people in here.
Indeed.
Um,
Indeed.
but
Indeed.
yeah, you know what? I will just go on, and if I need to backtrack, we will, and I won't, take up any more of your time than
Yeah.
we originally planned because we can get this with you and I. We
Yeah.
can get this done like a half an hour.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so what I had on the agenda today is just to talk about Black heritage again,
Okay.
and I went downtown and retrieved the list of candidates.
Yeah.
Um, So, because what we could do, we want to make sure we get people from all over the city
Yeah.
and make our recommendations that way because all of them do as far as being on the city council, their votes affect everyone in the city,
Mm-hmm.
not just their district. So we still have to be conscious of, because I know people all over the city. I know you probably do too,
Yeah.
and so we
Yeah.
can help our people in that way.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be fewer of us that actually vet these people than just say I'm going to just vote for this person because they I recognize their name or sound familiar or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
So with that said,
I talked to Alexa Davis. She's a manager with D7. So they were
right.
talking about the construction that is coming to that area. So like
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to seeing like what the city is going to dole out. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
be a process, obviously, but it seems like everybody has their hands on board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Because when it comes down to you got millions and millions of dollars you control, and then as we go through this process of learning and improving our own knowledge, we can get a good understanding of exactly what's at stake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I'll just kind of go over the candidates with you a little bit. We don't have it's a lot, and really, the only ones we're going to have to be concerned with is the ones that actually get the signatures and get certified down there. So we have for city council at large. So there's going to be 2 people at large to represent the whole city. So in addition to our district person, we will call directly on the at large people for any issues that we will have concerns in that.
hmm
So we've got 23 people on that list, Denzel.
okay,
Yeah, this is just the one for at large,
yeah,
for city council at large. And they have to get a minimum of 500 signatures each to get on the August primary
okay,
ballot. Okay, so and I'll just put this out here right now. I don't have one of the flyers, but I will definitely recommend that we support at large. Nobody that's been there. Mary Sheffield. I'm sorry, not Mary. Yes, definitely not Mary Sheffield. I mean, this is just my opinion,
yeah,
and I could substantiate that, right? Because ultimately, when we all get together, we need to be bringing who it is that we want to support and why we want to support them. What are the reasons that we're supporting those people? So on here, I'm going to say Ramon Jackson.
okay,
He's running at large. He's very transparent about the money. That's all he speaks about. He talks about how that is what a council person's job is. It is they vote on money. That's
right, right,
basically what they do. They vote on contracts. They vote on who gets grants. They vote on all these kinds of things that have to do with money. They control our resources. I have not heard no other candidate talk about that
yeah,
or say anything about it. So if they're not talking about our money and getting it back to us, I'm not. I would not be in support of that person. And then the thing about it too, Denzel, Ramon teaches these classes on uh, political awareness and what we should know concerning our money. Very transparent about that. very humble and understands that he is applying for a job from us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now if you want me to read these names, I will. Maybe you recognize some of them. Would you
Yeah,
like me to read them?
I would like to add on to what you're saying real quick is that
Yes, sir.
Garland Gilchrist, he's going to be running. Mary Sheffield, she's going to be running. Mayor Mike
What is
Duggan,
Colin Gilchrist running for?
mayor. I think he's running for mayor. So
Okay.
like, you know, I'm not really concerned about the local politics. You know, I always tell people like, get your Robinhood, you know, app and you know, buy some stock. You know, buy some stock. You know, wherever you want to. If you want to buy, you know, stock in DTE, MGM, you know, invest locally. And then when they contact you and say, you know, um, is this person feasible for, you know, talking about your issues when you're talking about commissioners and, you know, voting for stock shareholders and, you know, stock boards and stuff like that. One thing that I do is that, you know, I invest in stock in like certain countries that are centered around great labor, great upside as far as like, you know, the investment that's going to come back, you know, because they track everything through your social security number. So when you buy a stock, okay, you may see a project pop over here in your area, whether you live in Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, you may see something pop up and you be wondering like, how did that happen? And then at the same time, you're saying, okay, well, you know, the commissioner on the board must have, you know, voted that, you know, a project over here where there was stock holding available. You know, maybe we want to, you know, build an outlet right here or a recreational center, anything. So that's what I would say. Like, you know, local politics is important as far as like redistricting and stuff like that, but local policies. But I would say voting for commissioners on shareholder councils is like, you know, a lot more important as well because you get to know where your money's going. And like a lot of the times, you know, the city council, you know, they're creating budgets and stuff like that and revenues, but you know, as far as like liquidating like actual assets and stuff like that, getting things done and investment, that can come from your commissioners too, as far as, you know, who you buy stock from. You know, like I own stock in EMX Royalty, you know, so like if I want to, you know, contact them and say, well, I need something done here, you know, this is community effort. Everybody can say, okay, well, we're going to do that. We want to get that done. We can see if they can put some money towards, you know, building something over here for some children or something like that, maybe a park.
Well, and I do understand that, and that's a good point that you make concerning shareholders and that. And what we have to understand is that we are shareholders in the Corporation of Detroit, Michigan, and as shareholders and not donors, right? Because donors are people that donate money and they're not concerned about what happens to their money. But we donate money all the time to the city through our taxes, right? Through our property taxes, through our sales taxes, through our income taxes. There's several ways that we donate to this pot continuously. And, you know, because again, you got 600 some thousand people living in the city of Detroit, generating these taxes all day, every day, 24 hours a day. You buy a coffee, you paying taxes. You pay your cell phone bill, you paying taxes. You pay your heat bill, you paying taxes. You get gas in your car, you paying taxes. Is every move we make, Denzel, we're paying taxes, right? And it goes into this huge tax pot. So then our 9 city council members and the mayor, they receive those funds. And then they decide, a lot of times not to our benefit, what to do with that money. And that's because we don't regulate them the way that we should. There's a book that, well, you know, I may read that next time, that candidate running for city council, Ramon Jackson, wrote. And it's called The Black America Report. And the book talks about all this money that's supposed to come to our communities, but we don't never see as the citizens, really. I mean, you see it in downtown and you see it, but you don't see it in the neighborhoods. So I came across that book during the pandemic. I was reading a book on black banking. I don't even know what the book was now. I don't remember it, but it was on black banking because I'm trying to uplift myself, right, and just learn about money and different things and how things work. And I was reading a book on black banking, and this is during the pandemic, almost 2021 probably. And so I'm reading a book on black banking, and in that book, it's talking about all this money that's supposed to come into like bad, cities that struggle with poverty and unemployment and stuff. And I'm thinking, well, you can't get no more poverty stricken and all these issues than Detroit is. So I'm thinking, well, where is all this money at, right? That I'm reading about. So then I'm like, it just came to me out of nowhere. And this was like fast forward, this was a year later, like 2022. So I'm like, what? I said, I had that book called The Black America Report that I bought off that young guy during the pandemic. I didn't know what I had did with it, Denzel. I was looking for it. I'm like, maybe that book will have some answers because it said The Black America Report. And I thought, when I first got it, I was like, well, this is probably another book about the white man and what he doing to us. And so I wanted to support my brother, of course, but I wasn't really that concerned about reading it because I felt like I knew it was already in it. So anyway, fast forward a year later, I'm reading the Black Banking book. So something made me go back to that book. It's like, what about that Black America Report? Maybe it's something in there that can explain where's all this money supposed to be at. So anyway, looking everywhere in the house for the book, can't find the book. So I said, I just look on Amazon, right? Because everybody sell everything on Amazon. And the name of the book was so short, The Black America Report, I could remember it. So I looked it up, found the book on Amazon, bought the book and sell. And really little thin book. I had put it on my Kindle. And I started reading that book. And I read it, like in a couple of hours maybe, because it's not that big of a book. And by the time I finished reading that book, I'm like, wow, so it's like you can only put two and two together. The book explains how historically, based on the work of Dr. King and others, we were able to get specific civil rights things in place. And that entitled us to contract money for the community, entitled us to particular grant money. And I'm like, well, dang, if we're supposed to be getting this money after all these years, Dr. King been dead, I don't know how long. I'm like, where the hell is this money at? So that only leads you to one conclusion. The local government controls that money. They get it. And so, hensely, they've been doing other stuff with it, not what's important to us as a community. So once I understood that, I never look at politicians the same anymore. I'm like, all you're doing is getting money and handing it out. Then I went down to the city council in the process of learning and being in this political environment, this little circle about the contracts. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go down. He said, Ramon was teaching us, he's like, you can go down there any day and look at the contract money they vote on and hand out. And I said, okay, because I couldn't believe it. I'm like, they can't be down there doing this all day. Sure enough, you go down to Denzel. Have you ever been down there?
Are you talking about to the city council office?
To the city council.
I've been in that area, but I haven't went into the city hall area, the town hall.
Yeah. We know what we gonna have to get together as a group when everybody got some time and just go down there so everybody can see the money they sit down there and hand out every day, all day. So we looked at I'm looking at these contracts, and I mean millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Lady live in West Bloomfield somewhere, got a $600,000 contract from us to do advertising. She don't even have a brick and mortar. This is from a residence. And so I'm saying that to say the other bad part about that is she live in West Bloomfield. She not putting no money in our tax pot, but she's getting it out because you got city council members down there voting on that think that's okay. We can't find a black company. You know how many people that would help? You find a black company in the city of Detroit, a resident rather, not necessarily black, But a resident of the city of Detroit, which more 9 times out of 10 are going to be Black, that will get a $650,000 contract to do advertising. We got tons of people that do social media that could probably do that job. But as opposed to that money going to a resident who is contributing to the tax pot on a regular basis, it's going to somebody in West Bloomfield Hills who will now take that money and spend it in their community. So this is the kind of stuff that's happening on a regular basis. And just say if someone like yourself were able to get one of those contracts, you're going to hire your own folks. You ever watch Shark Tank? You ever seen that show?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when they do those recaps on the businesses, the people they hire all look like them. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. But we are not able to do it because there's not enough of us in entrepreneurship realm that can provide that kind of, job support and create jobs. So have you ever heard of Art Cartwright?
I've probably seen his face, but I don't.
Yeah.
The name doesn't ring a bell.
He's a local millionaire Detroiter from here. So he'll have his little meetings at his facility there on 7 Mile. And one of the things he always says is that white people work for white people, Asian people work for Asian people, Mexicans work for Mexicans, Arabs work for Arabs, and we work for anybody. Because we at the bottom of the entrepreneurship pool. But contracts, everybody isn't ready to be an entrepreneur, but there are a lot of us that are entrepreneurs already. I know plenty of entrepreneurs that's right here locally in the city of Detroit. And even if they're, say, not in the city of Detroit, Black folks more than likely going to hire Black people.
Yeah, there's there's a successful business on 7 Mile in St. Mary's. With Isaiah and Maria, and like they're doing an excellent job of giving the community great product as far as consumerism. They have their flag out there, the U.S. banner, the Moroccan flag, and like they sell the community high quality product as far as they may have Ethiopian food in there for those who like Mediterranean food or Eastern cuisines. They have that in there. They have whole foods, vegetables, fruits. They have that in there. So it's like when I found out about the business, I had to go and support them.
Absolutely.
It's very rare that you get a good brick and mortar where people are selling good product.
Yeah, especially in our community because we don't own a lot of stuff. But getting the right people in office, we can start to change that. We have a Denzel, you're in, where are you? Warrendale? What's your neighborhood?
I'm right near downtown, in an area where Grand Boulevard runs through.
Okay. We have in our neighborhood here in Franklin Park, we have a young man, 44 years old, a young Black guy. He put $1.2 million into a little grocery store. It's called Westwood Grocery. Nice little store. And he's hired people, right? People have, as a result of him having that place, he's been able to hire people and give them jobs. So I just say that to say, if we can get a hold to our resources and hire people that mean well by us and to help us elevate our community, we can help alleviate a lot of that. May not all of it, because grown people are grown and they're just going to do what they want to do. But I believe the vast majority of people, they want to have a decent job. They want to have, a decent place to live and not have to look behind your back or your shoulder in order to just to be living and make a living. So that would be the whole thing, is getting the correct people in there so that we can adequately have them follow our directions and controlling our resources, because that's what they're doing. So then have you heard, we went down to Pastor Ken Lott, he announced for mayor.
Okay, yeah, I wish him well in that endeavor. I haven't saw the article or anything, but
Yeah, he's got a lot of good ideas. and he talked about trying to get people jobs from 25 to like $35 an hour. He talked about building like 10 grocery stores throughout the city, that we would actually have decent grocery stores and not a lot of these little stores that just not don't sell healthy foods and stuff. So, and again, I have to go back because these are things that I've heard Ramon speak about over the years, having grocery stores and having money to help the businesses that are already here to enhance. So, but anyway, let me go back to this. So we got 24 people running at large. They have not been certified yet, but let me show you this, Denzel. You see this right here? That blue line? That means they've turned in all their signatures and they're gonna be on the August ballot.
Okay.
So that election is gonna be very important because anybody that we don't want, we can stop them at the primary. They don't even get through to the November election. This particular highlighted name here is Mary Sheffield. And the reason why, well, I don't know what I do know, but what do you think about her?
I have a connection with her on LinkedIn, so like I get to read her her posts that she uploads, so like she just uploaded a video, I think it was yesterday, announcement for her run for mayor. So I think like it's going to be some great young people in there who is going to get behind on the campaigns for people who are going to be pursuing that level of leadership. But I'm kind of like right now I'm just thinking about international affairs, because I think like local affairs is great. You know what I mean? Like you get the city running, you make sure city services is going. I'm really focused on like making sure the right people are running for government on all levels, no matter what. Mm-hmm. But I wish her well too if she decides that she's going to hang in there after the primaries. I wish her well.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, I don't wish her well. I want her nowhere near the primary. Not because I think she's a bad person, but because I think she is not equipped at all to do that job. She doesn't have a heart for it, number one. Y'all dropped the ball on them babies freezing down there. Yeah. Not to say that it's something you did intentionally, but it's something that you did neglectfully. Because when you don't take our HUD money and use it to rehab these old schools that's sitting and rotting, my 80-something-year-old mother, Denzel, will ride by a vacant school and say, why can't they fix that up to put homeless people in it?
Yeah.
When homeless people go to these shelters and get turned away, because you took our HUD money and did other stuff with it, as opposed to what HUD says you're supposed to do with it, which is help downtrodden people. That's your job. You didn't do that, Miss Sheffield, and neither none of the rest of y'all did. Mary Sheffield been sitting there as long as Mike Duggan has. She haven't brought not $10 to our neighborhoods, not 10. Downtown, Midtown, yeah, you constantly vote on money for them. But, and then check this out. Remember when they overtaxed us?
Yeah.
You remember that? You overtaxed us $600 million. Mary Sheffield and the rest of them say, okay, we're going to give y'all some old houses from the land bank. Those of you who got, that lost your homes. Those of you who didn't lose your homes, you just paid a whole bunch of money. Well, we can't do nothing for y'all. Wow. They have given all them billionaires tax abatements for years up the wazoo. I'll give you an example. Denzel, the train station that Ford just rebuilt in 6 years, an old run-down decrepit train station. They have excused their taxes, which would have been a revenue for us, $70 million a year. They have excused that, abated them for the next 30 years. They don't have to. This is the kind of stuff that Mary Sheffield and the rest of those city council people are down there doing in that mayor. But like we can afford to give up tax dollars, but you can't take. And then we have a HUD report done by HUD itself on the malfeasance and the mismanagement of the HUD dollars. They doing everything they can with that money except what they're supposed to do with it. When the young lady's babies froze, Mary Sheffield said, "We're not responsible for housing." Yet, are you familiar with the charter, Denzel, right? We talked about that a little bit, I think, last time.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
The city charter, which is the constitution for the city that tells you how you operate, just like the Constitution we have for the United States. We have the charter is our Constitution. Denzel, first page in the charter says that they're responsible for providing decent housing.
Yeah.
But you've been in office 12 years and you don't know that? Yeah. You ain't opened up the first page of the document that governs how you are supposed to act and the services you are supposed to provide. One more thing, and this is the tip of the iceberg. Mary Sheffield created an ordinance that was supposed to help people with their taxes. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that. Nope.
He created an ordinance. You can Google any of the stuff I'm telling you. She created an ordinance that was supposed to help people kind of circumvent or decrease the process of getting their taxes abated, right? Then you know what she did? Turn around and voted against her own ordinance.
Okay.
So you create something to help people, but then you turn around and vote against your own ordinance. That's not somebody that's politically savvy or astute at all. You're just taking up space and you're looking the part so that you can keep controlling our money. But you know what? We throughout this vetting process, we're going to get a whole bunch of stuff together on her. Because if everybody knew, and especially about this bond issue, we're more in debt now than we were during the bankruptcy. This is how much debt that they have taken out on our homes. And anything that the mayor does, city council gotta pass. There's no way. If they don't pass it, it doesn't go. So she's been a part of that. And that's why I say no one that's sitting there now should be holding any kind of office as far as our tax dollars are concerned. That shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, I've experienced homelessness in the past, and there was only like one emergency shelter like who would take in everybody, and that was on Martin Luther King Drive, downtown. So it was like, you know, if COTS didn't take you in, then you were just kind of out of luck. And they only dealt with, you know, women and children. So it was kind of one of those situations.
And that is sickening, because when I was a teacher, I've had parents that come tell me that, you know, they try to go to the shelter but got teenage boys and they won't take them. What the hell is that about, Denzel? Yeah. No, we control that money. There shouldn't be nobody turned in the street. It's too many damn empty schools. We can make amends one for men if that's what people want. We can make a women's one. We can rehab that. And so people have a place to go. So this is the kind of stuff that we're not getting because the people that are down there controlling our money don't care about that.
Yeah, I had to leave the city actually, and I lucked up and I got a certification in nursing, so I was able to use that in Minnesota. So it was like I lucked up, but you know, a lot of people, like the lady who had the children, you know, they just found her like a new home. So you know what I mean? The children won't be here to experience that. And it's kind of like a lot of people are saying things about that. And it's kind of like, you know, it's unfortunate. I wish that Detroit or, you know, surrounding areas of Detroit, I wish they invested more in like veterans or like families who are with veterans. Like I wish they did that because like the investment is going to have to come from somewhere. And it's like, if you're going to let the property value go down, you know, it's like, no one's going to be around to really see that improvement.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And see, that's why it's so important, Denzel, for us to, and those aren't the first babies that have froze under their watch. And that's why it's so important that we get control of our resources. And the only way we're going to get control of our resources is to pick the people to control our resources. And those people that are there, they've proven who they are and what they're about. They're all about what Mike Duggan is about, helping and enriching billionaires and millionaires. Because that's what they've done the entire time. They'll have, say $10 billion comparatively, and then they'll take $100,000 and say, oh, look, we gave Motor City Match people something. But the bulk of the money, y'all doing the wrong stuff with it. And it's going to take us to stop them. And I have every intent of doing exactly what you said. But we have to do it as a people, and that's why I thought, let's get this Black Heritage Alliance together, because, Denzel, if we can get 100K people, voters, to think like we're thinking, we won't have this problem anymore. And we'll be able to regulate our resources. We can eradicate this stuff, and we can be a model for the rest of the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the leadership as far as, the archbishop, the leadership as far as the pastors, the deacons, churches everywhere. It's on them to make sure that the community level, the residents, that they get the necessary tools and resources in order to move forward in bettering communities. Like when I look around Detroit, and I see like there's only a few block clubs, it leads me to believe that, people just aren't serious about, protecting the community as far as public safety, investing in the community, as starting starting businesses and brick and mortars and, export, import of foods and goods and agriculture. It leads me to believe that people are just not serious, so, I wish the best for everyone, like who's going in that direction and solving the problems. I hope that more people in Detroit becomes like facilitators and like the agriculture business, and like growing food and, really delivering on it. Cause like the kids, like they're going to have to go outside and play, and they're going to have to get used to the environment. If they don't see an apple tree, they're not going to know to eat apples. If they don't see an orange tree, they're not going to know to eat oranges, so I want to see that improve.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and I know I mentioned that we have 23 people running at large. And for mayor right now, we have, we count at large. Yeah, we got 23 running at large. And for mayor, I think we got 24. Did you hear this guy, Joe Tate? He dropped out of the race.
Yeah, I thought he was still in it.
He dropped out. And it's approximately 6 days. So I guess when he saw that crowd down there at the Fox for Solomon Kinloch, he figured, well, I might as well just pack it in or whatever. Let's see, for mayor, we got...
Yeah, he may be going back to Lansing, so...
Yeah, that's where you should go, back to Lansing. And listen, I'm going to tell you this. It's a funny thing, but, a friend of his told me that, because, I don't care who people date or whatever, but someone that knows him really well shared with me that said, well, he only dates white women. I said, oh my gosh, that might not go over too well in a black city. But I don't know, but I do know that as soon as Solomon Kinloch announced 6 days ago, he was like, he was done. He wasn't going to be in it anymore. But anyway, so we got 24 people running for mayor. But as I said, only one has turned in their signatures. That line represents Mary Sheffield. And then as soon as Pastor Kinloch came out, they tried to say, oh, well, he has liens or this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But he hasn't done any harm to us publicly, because he hasn't been in control of our resources. So, that's not important. And we can't have the free press picking our folks. They often do that a lot of times, they're not being truthful about everything that's happening, because they never talk about the bond debt. They never talk about all these things that are really impacting us, the water drainage fee. I did not know that Mayor Duggan just created that when he came, the water drainage fee. So nobody else is even paying a water drainage fee. And that's really harming a lot of people. just due to the taxes, the big tax burden of it. Because if you don't pay your water bill, then what they do, they put it on your taxes. So then that makes you be overburdened with the tax debt. And then a lot of people end up losing their property because of that. So it's just like one bad thing after the next. But anyway, did you have anything else you wanted to share you had on your mind? Because we're gonna do this every week until we. And I know you won't be able to make it all the time, but I appreciate you coming on. And I'm gonna just start making these at 6:30, just in case I got folks.
Okay.
It's always something coming up, especially around this time of the year with it being tax season.
Mm. Yeah, I don't have much else to add. I just want to see. My only hope is that everything goes well for this mayoral race. I hope the right person gets in there, and I hope that investments start to turn around. That's all I'm looking forward to, though.
Exactly right. Did you have anything that you wanted to do as far as, because I know you know about stocks and investing and all of that. Is that something that you teach people or?
No, I don't teach it. I just say like, get a Robinhood app. Look at a stock that you may want. It may be in
Mm-hmm.
Africa. It may be in Brazil somewhere, South America, Peru, wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Invest in it, and this will begin a conversation of, instead of just voting for local politics, but let's vote for, stock boards. Let's hope
Mm-hmm.
that, when we vote, commissioners, when that time comes around and you get that smart sheet that comes to your email that says, who are you going to vote for commissioners on, your shareholder receipts. And then you say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'll vote for this person. I'll vote for that person. Now, I can write a name in. And the issues that I want to see happen is this, 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 and this. I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of people in these communities in Detroit know about trading stocks or just investing in them. If they invest in them, then it'll be better. It can be just $5 or $1,
Mm-hmm.
99
Mm-hmm.
cent. Just invest in something.
Right. And then relative to our taxes and the money that we have coming in our city, why couldn't something like that be taught, set up to be taught?
Yeah,
Right, throughout the city to teach young people, because people think it's more complicated than what it actually is. I got a Robinhood.
yeah,
I have I got a little bit of Tesla, and I bought some stock in the movies.
yeah,
I think it's Imagine. I think I got some in that, and a little bit is something else. So people think it's a lot harder than what it is, and that it takes a lot of more money, but it doesn't. Someone like yourself that's familiar with that, knows about it, could be, and contracted to help and to go around here and educate people about that. So,
yeah. I have a
um,
certificate in EMX royalty, so like I made sure I got a physical certificate. Well, it's in my shed right here. And
okay.
also, it should be taught in schools, like how to trade stocks. Like you should have an economic class and the curriculum for grade 7 through 8.
Mm-hmm.
Grade 9 through 10. It should be in the curriculum.
It should be taught, right? In schools, I think that's standard. They don't even really teach the kids. And I think they just passed some legislation to start teaching some kind of financial, literacy
Mm,
to the 12th graders. But it needs to start way before then.
yeah,
And so that's when, and then that's another thing too, Denzel, those school contracts, it's the same kind of thing. Because as a teacher, we would always have people coming into the school, contracting with the school to teach the kids different stuff, like after school program and stuff like that. So, that might be something that you want to look in, since you had that kind of
yeah.
knowledge and you can impart it to people, because it's very well definitely needed.
Mm.
It's definitely needed. But listen, thank you so
Okay.
much. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to scan everything I have. Well, I won't scan everything. Well, I think I'm gonna need to, because you're in District 5, right?
No, I don't want to share that, but I'm right near Motown, Motown Museum.
Okay, I think that's 5. I think that might be 5, Denzel. But what I'm gonna do is, what I have now is gonna show all the districts, 1 through 7, the at large and the mayor. So y'all can start reviewing these people.
Yeah.
But you know
Okay.
what? Maybe we should wait till we get the final
Yeah.
list, because we don't want to be bothered with people that ain't gonna be on the ballot.
Yeah.
They got to get their signatures done first. So and that's due April the 5th, I think. That's it.
Okay.
That's due April. Listen, we'll be over to 180 tomorrow if you want to come. 6:30.
Yeah, I'll be on the lookout for your emails and for the meetings and whatnot. Hopefully more people join because I want to hear what everybody has to say. That's in Detroit, so it's great that you started this. So
yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right.
Take care.
Thank you so much. All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.